Okay. We learned last night.
Yeah, sorry, I worked until 2 a.m, so I wasn't able to get in.
We got until today. We're gonna start on top of Pei Hey. We just did Pei Dalet Amid Beis. Now we're on top of Pei Hey. I'm a Rebbe.
Okay, so I'll catch it up on the plane today. Not a problem. Thank you.
Okay. We thank Hashem that we're able to learn Torah every day. In this Chassav learning, we have the Beis Hamikdash immediately, and we're learning Lili Nishmas, Avigal the Basparach Binyamin, and Nisan Alzev Ben Benzion, and Refuah Shleima for Avram David Ben Sarah, and Mazel Tov to Jeff, right, for his son's engagement. Okay, I'm a Rebbe. Make a bracha over here. I'm a Rebbe. Rebbe taught this Rabbi Yudah Nasi. Chavivin Yisurin is on 85A. Yeah. Chavivin Yisurin. Precious is suffering. What they say about I forget exactly the story, but there was this Rebbe that was saying over about this guy that was taken to the world to come, and they were weighing his judgment merits and they put his suffering all on the scale of his merits, and it wasn't weighing out. He says, Rabbeinu Shalom, why didn't you give me a little bit more suffering? Because and in the next world things look a little different. Anyway, it says Chavivin Yisurin, suffering is precious. Kibul Tleisa Shni, he accepted on himself 13 years of suffering. Shis Bitzamirta, 6 years kidney stones. Sheva Bitsafrana, and 7 years. Rashi says it's some illness in the mouth, and I'm not familiar with the French word, but what do they say over there? You know, we'll all have the same Gemara. Okay, so it's another.
Scurvy.
Scurvy. Is that an illness in the mouth?
It's like a vitamin
Does it affect the mouth?
caused by vitamin C deficiency. And loss of teeth.
It causes loss of teeth. Okay, so it could be. It looks like it looks like it's an illness of the mouth. It doesn't look like it's an illness that causes. Hanan has this joke. If you're
It's caused by vitamin C.
if you
Includes general lethargy and loss of teeth.
That one is sometimes they're a little bit off. It goes by like Greek term and like this term, and sometimes.
Said if you're the guy that sells your drugs has all his teeth, it could be the FBI.
That's how it comes away.
He has all his teeth. It could be the FBI. Anyway, so whatever it is, this is the an illness in the mouth. The acceptance. V'amrila shiva b'tzamirta v'shis b'tzipan. Some say that it was the other way. 7 with scurvy, let's say, and 6 with 7 with kidney stones, and 6 with the teeth, the scurvy. Ahuraira, the Bei Rebbe, this is like the stable person, the person that takes care of the horses. Aviyatim Shvar Malka was more wealthy than Shvar Malka, than the king Shvar, was a Persian king, I think. Karavirami Kista Lechiyusa, when they would give the animals their food. So have you also called it tlasamili? I guess there were so many animals, and they were so they would like jump for their food. So there was such a big commotion. It would go for 3 mil. How much was a mil? Was a few thousand amas.
18 minutes.
But to walk a mil was an 18-minute walk. Yeah. Or 13 minutes possibly. But anyway, this is 3 of those. It's like a 45-minute walk maybe. So have a mecham and the Rabbi shaita dal Rebbe lebeis hakisei. When Rebbe would go to the bathroom, it was so painful, they would be shouting. So they would feed the animals at the same time, so people shouldn't hear his shouts when he's going to the bathroom. Even so, even though they were doing this exactly at the same time, but his Rebbe's shouts would be louder than all the animals' commotion. Even people on the sea were able to hear it. And nevertheless, Yisur the Rebbe Lezer adifim the Rebbe. Rabbi Lezer bar Shimon, his suffering was worse, was more significant than Rebbe's. Rabbi Lezer bar Shimon Rabbi Lezer bar Shimon came out of love and left with love. I mean, it's like he called it on himself. Remember in the story, he would say, "Come, my friends." The Rebbe al yidei ma'aseh ba al yidei ma'aseh halchu. That we learned last night. Says that that happened because of an occurrence. What was this story? What happened? How did all the suffering come? There was a calf.
Oh, this is the son of
Rabbi Shimon Yochai. His suffering came because he asked for it, and the suffering of Rebbe that came because of a story. What was the story? So there was this calf that was being taken to Shechita. Also, Talia Lareshe Bekanfe the Rebbe, Kabachi. It went and it put its head into the clothing of Rebbe, the talis or kapata of Rebbe, and it was crying. Amalei, Rebbe says, Zil, should go, Lakach Netzarta, that's what you were created for. Amri, so they said, I guess in heaven, Hayol V'lei Kamarachim, since he wasn't compassionate, Leisol Yisurim, so let suffering come on him.
Whoa. Made for like to be a carbon? Like what do you
No, what he was created for, what he was meant for, is that the animals were made to eat.
Oh.
Yeah. Right. By the Maisa Halcho, and it left because of an action. Yoim Echad, one day, because of a story. Yoim Echad Havikakoncha Amse the Rebbe Besa. Kansha was maybe it means sweeping. Yeah, sweeping. The maid of Rebbe was sweeping the house. Avishadya b'nei Karkushta Kanchalu. She was collecting the weasels that were litter. Okay, a babe that we have there.
This is weasel or field mouse.
Field mouse. Okay. I wouldn't know the difference if I saw them. And Vikakanchla was collecting them. Amala, she said to her, Shaftino, you can leave them alone. It says Hashem is compassionate on all his creations, so we should be compassionate on them. Well, Amri Halam Merachim, because he's compassionate, Merachim Alei should be compassionate on him. In the storybook, Hillel, that you got, the comics. So in there, I think it said that it said that Rebbe was suffering. So he said, "Oh, let me get rid of my suffering by being compassionate on these animals." So it wasn't that over here you were reading it. Rebbe didn't have his suffering in mind. Let me do something to get rid of my suffering. It's just he was kind, and the suffering went away. In the book, they have it that he was trying to get rid of his suffering, so he said, "Let me be compassionate, and then my toothache will go away." Kulishnei Yisuri de Rebbe Lazar. All the days. I'm sorry.
It could be both.
Yeah, that's modern commentary on the Gemara. Modern medrash. Okay, so all the years of Rabbi Elazar's suffering, no one passed away young. Everyone passed away at their time. All the years that of Rebbe's suffering, the world didn't need rain. Because Rabbi says the name of Rav Shila, you say like, what's wrong with rain? No, rain is difficult. A day of rain is like a day of judgment. It's difficult to get things done in the rain, to go out to do things. And
does that mean that everybody lived to 120
or 70?
or 70? Is that what it means?
I think so.
Okay.
This sounds like it ties back to probably Eliezer ben Shimon, who would request get all the pain of everyone.
Hillel saying that when Rabbi Eliezer ben Shimon was asking for the suffering, he was suffering on behalf of the generation. So, yeah, that's lessening the suffering, though. That's lessening. I would like to read it without that. Who says that? Is that a Rashi or is that a? Okay, I like to read it that the suffering itself is so powerful, even if it's not the suffering of the generation, can still help the whole generation. That's what I'd like to read. You're limiting it.
It was pretty bad.
No, I'm saying anyone suffering should help everyone else. Should help the generation. Anyway, okay. V'amar Meimar says, "Ilav the tzarech alma." If not for the fact that the world needs rain, we would stop the whole raining. We'd stop the rain. It's like a science fiction thing. When you would pull out a radish or any tuber from the ground, it would be filled with water, even though it never rained, but the water came up from the ground, so the soil was always moist. So they didn't need the rain because it had underground sprinkler systems. Okay. Ikla Rebbe last year, Rebbe came, visited the place where Rabbi Eliezer bar Shimon was. Maybe it was Achbara. Remember that was the name of the city. Amalei, he said, Amalehem probably. Yeshle ben le'sitzadik. Did the tzaddik leave over a son? Amalei, they said to him, Yeshle ben, he does have a son. Any prostitute that would be hired with 2 coins would hire him for 8 coins. He was very good looking. Asiyas mecheber Rebbe. So Rebbe goes, this is Rebbe, right? Rebbe goes and he gives him smicha. He gives this guy smicha. That was quick. Rabbi Eliezer bar Shimon's son. It just okay. Well, you'll see in a moment. Bashlamila Rab Shimon ben Isi ben Lakunya achis deime, achvadeime, and he arranges for Rab Shimon ben Isi ben Lakunya. I don't know why we use all those names. Who's his mother's brother, his uncle, to teach him Torah. That was the arrangement. Kol Yaima, I guess Rebbe paid for this. He hired him a tutor. Kol Yaima every day, Havayama, the child would say, L'kriyasi ani Yosel, I want to go back to my town. I don't like it here in yeshiva. I want to go back. Amalei, so he said to him, now it doesn't say who, if it's Reb Shimon or Rebbe, but someone said to him, Chakim Abdullah, we made you into a sage. V'gulsa dedava parsalach. We put on you a golden, maybe a collar or something. Cloak. Golden cloak. Rebbe Karalach, we even call you Rebbe. And you want to go back? Look at we're making you into a great person over here. Well, Amarle, he said, Mumi Azuvada. I don't know exactly how to translate Mumi. It sounds like it's an expression of an oath. I'm taking an oath that I'm going to leave this thought. I won't say that again. I'm going to continue in yeshiva. Gadol, when he got bigger, Asa Yosef Mesifta, the Rebbe comes to the yeshiva of Rebbe. Shami Lakale. Rebbe hears him talking. Amar, Hakala Dami Lakale Rabbi Eliezer bar Shimon. The voice sounds like the voice of Rabbi Eliezer bar Shimon. Amrulay, they said to Rebbe Brehu, that's his son. The Rebbe was the one that arranged for him to study. Kari Alei, he says about him, Pri Tzadiketz Chaim Alekech Nefashis Chacham. The fruit of the righteous is the tree of life, and someone that takes souls is a wise person. Pri Tzadiketz Chaim. The fruit of the tzaddik is the tree of life. Rabbi Yossi bar Elazar bar Shimon. This is Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon, the one that takes the souls, this wise man. Rabbi Shimon ben Isi ben Lakunya. This is his tutor that he had, his uncle.
Here they had was that he was the uncle of the wayward young man. He was the uncle of the wayward young man, and then most children are similar to the maternal uncles. I've gone over that before. Oh yeah.
The Adian Hill is adding in from a note that the children are similar to the mother's brothers. Right.
And then like if he did something, it would reflect on his uncle. So I think it would be good for his uncle to give it the best shot.
When he passed away, this is Rabbi Yossi, the son of Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon. When he passed away, they brought him to his father's cave. There was a snake that was surrounding the cave. Very common scene in amongst the caves. Amrulay, so they said to the snake, Achna, psach picha, open your mouth. You couldn't spend it to love it. Let the child come to the father. Who do we have yesterday? That the cave opened, that the snake opened up and let him in. This is Rabbi Elazar going in to visit to be buried next to Rabbi Shimon. When it comes to Rabbi Yossi being buried next to the Shimon, the snake doesn't open up. People thought that Rabbi Elazar bar Shimon is much greater than Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Elazar. The heavenly voice comes out. It's not because Rabbi Elazar is greater, and that's why the snake's not letting him in. But this one was in the cave with Rabbi Shimon bar Yochai for 13 years. Rabbi Elazar. And Rabbi Yossi wasn't in the cave. He never suffered like that. He didn't have the other suffering either, I guess. But the main point over here is that he wasn't in the cave. That's why he wouldn't be allowed in. Were they hiding in the same cave that they were buried? Maybe that would be like, because he suffered in the cave. That's why he's allowed to be buried in this cave. That's what it sounds like. I think in the tradition, I think they have somewhere nearby in Meron is the cave where they hid, and there's another cave where they're buried. I think that's the tradition. Yeah, they're not letting people go this year. Security reasons, I think.
Yeah. Studying under extremely
Right. Ikla Rebbe last street to Reb Tarfon. Rebbe goes to visit the city of Reb Tarfon. Reb Tarfon was in Lud, right? Where was Reb Tarfon? Goes to visit the city of Reb Tarfon. Amalahu says to him, Yeshlei ben Laisi Tzadik Shei Mekapech Esbanav. Reb Tarfon would say that if this isn't true, I should bury my sons. He had an expression like that. So did he leave over a child? Amrulai, they said Ben ain't like he doesn't have any sons, but Ben Bas Yeshlei, but he does have a grandson, son of his daughter. Any prostitute that is hired for 2 coins hires him for 8 coins. Asula Kamei. So they brought him in front of Rabbi. Amrulai, he said to him, if you do tshuva, then I'll give you my daughter to marry. That was quick. Okay. So Hadar he returned. He did tshuva. That's right. They're very good. Very good. Similar. That was also quick, right? There was no dating or anything. It was that. Take my sister, right? Here he said, take my daughter. Hadar he returned. The reason is because they were able to see the soul, the character, and they were able to see through. Yeah, don't try that today. Ikadamri, those that say Nispa Begersha, that he married her but he divorced her. Ikadamri Lainas Baklal, some say that he never married her. They shouldn't say that because of this woman, this person did tshuva, that went to study. Why did Rebbe go out of his way like this? It was also Mazel Tov. Son is engaged. I'm sorry.
That makes sense.
The Amar Rav Yehuda Marav. Rav Yehuda says name of Rav. Amar Rav Chia Barabba Amar Rav Yechanan. Some say Rav Chia Barabba says name of Rav Yechanan. Amar Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani Amar Rav Yonasan. Some say that it goes back to Rav Shmuel Bar Nachmani name of Rav Yonasan. That Kol Malamed is Ben Chaver Torah. Anyone that studies his friend's child Torah, Zeicha v'Yeshiv Yeshiva Shamayli is going to merit to sit in the yeshiva in heaven. Shnemar Im Tashava Shivcha Lefani Tamer. If you return him probably. And I will return you, and you will sit in front of, and you will stand in front of me, which means that he'll be in the yeshiva in heaven. If you teach the child of a ignoramus Torah, I feel like Kadosh Baruch Hu basic gzeira, even if Hashem makes decrees, he'll nullify it for you. If you take precious out of waste, it'll be like my mouth. It shall be. If you take the precious is the teaching the Torah to this child out of the waste means like the father that wasn't the stage. That's what it seems like. Amar Panach Amar Rabbi Yechanan. Panach says the name of Rabbi Yechanan. Kol Talmud Chacham, Bnei Talmud Chacham, Ben Bnei Talmud Chacham. Anyone that's a Talmud Chacham, his sons are Talmud Chacham, and his grandsons are Talmud Chacham. Shuvein Torah Pesekus Mizari La'ilam. Is the Torah won't stop from all generations. It will continue. Yeah. Shenema, it says in the Pasuk, there's another Gemara that says that money only lasts for 3 generations. There was another, I remember teaching this, and I think it's a Gemara Kedushin, I forget where it is. But I remember one of my students was going like this, like as I was teaching, I was thinking, I was like getting very upset. So anyway, okay. So here it lasts forever.
And the opposite with the Torah, once you have 3 generations.
It continues. It says in the pasuk, "Vani zeis brisi, this is my covenant. Vani, and I zeis brisi, this is my covenant. Lo yamusha mipicha, it shall not depart from your mouth. Mipi zaracha, from your descent, from your children. Mipi zaracha, from your descendants, your grandchildren. Amar Hashem, Hashem says, Me'atav adelam, now and forever, which the Gemara is learning that for 3 generations it doesn't depart. My Amar Hashem, what does it mean? Hashem says, Amar Kadosh Baruch Hu, Hashem is saying, Ani Arav Lach B'Davos, I guarantee this. My Me'atav adelam, what does it mean from now until forever? Amar Rabbi Kan Ve'elach Torah Machzer Salach Sanya Shala. The Torah goes back to its host, where that's like its home. So it just naturally goes there. Rabbi Yosef Abba Tanisa, Rabbi Yosef sat, he took on himself 40 fasts. And they read to him, I guess probably in heaven, that they said about him that it won't depart from his mouth. Yosef Abam Tanisa, he sat for another 40 fasts. Won't depart from your mouth or your children's mouth. Yosef Meya Tanisa, maybe Mem Tanisa. He sat for another, does it say 100 or 40? 100? There's 2 versions here in the Gemara. Another 40 fasts, or 100 fasts. They said that it won't depart from your mouth, from your children's mouth, your grandchildren's mouth. I don't have to fast anymore. I'm already guaranteed. The Torah is going to come back. I don't have to fast for my great-grandchildren. It's good enough. What does it say about when you say Tilam on Shabbos Mevarchim? Does it say, it says it helps for your children and grandchildren? Does it say after that also? I think that's it. But it could be that's enough. Once you have to take care of the grandchildren, you're good to go. Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Reb Zera Kisalaklar, the Israel, when he was going up to Israel, Yosef, he was coming from Babel, Yosef Meya Tanisa, he sat for 40 fasts. He took on himself, 100 fasts. That he should forget the Talmud Bavli. so that he should not be confused when he comes to study the Torah of Eretz Yisrael. He wanted to forget everything that he knew, so that he should be able to study. There's a lot of questions on this. How is he allowed to do that? You're not allowed to forget the Torah. What's the there's another girsa that I like, that he fasted 100 fasts, not to forget the Torah. I like that girsa, but it's not quoted over here.
Or if someone does something that pushes all done, it gets removed.
Right. He said another 100 fasts. He fasted that Rabbi Lazar shouldn't pass away while he's there, and then all the community matters would fall on him. He fasted another 100 fasts that he shouldn't, the fire of Gehenna shouldn't have power over him. He would test himself every 30 days to see if the fire of Gehenna had power over him. He lit up an oven. He went and sat inside, and he wouldn't get burnt. Yeah. Like
That's
fire,
like singing,
fire
it's gonna
walking.
get kind of
What is it?
like I'm bidding so excited to sing it.
Yeah. Yeah, you can only try this once. You don't get a second shot. That's what you're saying. One day, the rabbis put their eyes on him like them. It's like jealous, like how special he was, and because of that, his like an ayin hara or something, and his thigh got burnt. And so they called him the short one with the burnt thigh.
Oh, that's the guy you said that because of him. Wasn't he like his name was Hakatana?
Zera means cotton. Zera means small, and they called him small. Yesterday we said that someone was called Katana.
No.
Oh, like Shmuel Katan. Shmuel Katan. Yeah, no, this is Reb Zera. But they called him the Katan. That's the Zera means small, and they called him Katan. That is with the burnt thigh. I'm Rabbi Yehuda Marav. Rabbi Yehuda says the name of Rav. Ma'adik said, what's the meaning of the verse? Who's the wise man that understands this? That the mouth of God spoke to him, V'yagida, and said, Alma of the earth, why the land was destroyed? Why was Israel destroyed? This matter, Amr Chachamim, the sages said this, and they didn't give an explanation. Amr Nevi'im, because it's quoting Mihir Shachacham, who is the wise man, and it doesn't say an answer. Amr Nevi'im, it says the prophet said that God spoke to him, and it didn't explain it. Until Hashem himself said, Hashem says, because they have forsaken my Torah that I have placed before them. Now, what does that mean? They've forsaken my Torah. Rav Yehuda explains it. In the name of Rav, they didn't say the blessings on the Torah before they studied. You have to always say the blessings beforehand. But what it means is that the Torah wasn't important enough to them. They didn't realize that it's so special. They studied it like, doesn't mean they didn't study. They studied, but it was just like another subject.
Who?
In the days of the destruction of the temple. It's probably the first destruction because it's a pasuk in Yirmiyah, which would mean it was the destruction of the first temple. But we know that was destroyed because of the other sins. Avodah Zarah, Gilui Arayos, and Shfichas Damim, right? Was the major? No. That was the three sins, right? It was the first base of Mikdash. And here it says because they didn't say the blessings on the Torah. Maybe if they would have taken the Torah more seriously, they wouldn't have committed those sins. Maybe that's the pshat. Like one leads to another, maybe. I don't know. Amar Rav Chama. Sometimes they answer these questions like this. This is Alma of the Haris. Why was the land lost? Could be the Beis Hamikdash would have been destroyed because of this. Why they lose the land was because of that. They could sometimes things get divided up like that. Amar Rav Chama says, "My diksiv." What's the meaning of the verse? Believe navain tenuah chachma. In the heart of the understanding rests wisdom. B'kerev ksilim taida, and in the amongst the fools it's known. Okay, let's see what this is. Believe navain tenuah chachma. In the heart of the understanding rests wisdom. Zet Talmud Chacham ben Talmud Chacham. This is a Torah scholar who's the son of a Torah scholar. But wisdom rests there. But amongst fools, it's known. This is a Talmud Chacham. That's the son of an Amaretz. Amar Ula says, this is what people say. Astira belagina kish kish karya. That you have a coin in a jug. It goes kish kish when you shake it around. You shake it, it makes a lot of noise. Now, what it means is, if it would have been full, it wouldn't have made any noise. The reason why it makes noise is because it's empty. So it's saying that the sage, the Torah scholar that's coming out of this family, it makes much more commotion than a Torah scholar that comes from a family of a Torah scholar. Yeah. I guess it's more impressive. Or I'm not sure if this is saying in a negative way or saying in a positive way. I don't know. I'm not sure. It says usually you don't put one coin. Taisha says usually one coin in a thing. You put it in a purse, and in a purse it doesn't make noise. But I guess he's saying it's like out of place.
Since he's like one tourist, if the family was for Torah scholars, like it wouldn't be such like so prominent. So it would be another Torah scholar.
Right.
This is what they do.
Right. So is it saying in positive or negative? How are they writing that? Is it saying something positive that, like, look at this?
Saying positive.
Yeah.
Always.
It's kind of, I don't know, I feel like it's kind of like
Diminishing.
Torah scholar, because his whole family is a Torah scholar.
Oh, that's what it's saying. Oh, okay.
Yeah, I vote positive also.
Go positive. We go positive here.
His wisdom stands out in contrast to the foolishness of the rest of his family.
Now they're putting it a little different. They're saying from Rashi that my deal that the Torah scholar who derives from a family of ignoramuses is wont to publicize his intellectual achievements and pride himself on his crown of wisdom. Maral explains that it is only unusual events that whet the public's interest and become widely known. Ordinary occurrences attract no attention. Thus, the news of a Torah scholar who is a son of an ignoramus travels far. Since that is something out of the ordinary, the reports of the Torah is something expected. So, yeah, according to Maral, it's not something negative. Rashi makes it look like something negative. Okay.
It's like the news.
It's the French.
It's like the news when something like unusual happens, they make a big commotion about it.
Right.
When normal,
yeah, big deal.
Every day.
Right. Right. Amalei Reb Yirmiyah le Reb Zera. Reb Yirmiyah says to Reb Zera, "My diksev, what's the meaning of the verse? Katan v'gadol shamu ve'eved chafshi mi'adayno." This is talking about Elam Haba. It says over there, the world to come. It says that over there is the small and great is there, and a person is free from his master. A slave is free from his master. The Gemara says 85b. It says
Phone's in your pocket. Phone's in your
I
pocket.
can't look at this while I drive.
Your phone's in your pocket.
85b. Okay. Do we not know? Don't we know that in the world to come, there's small people and great people? But what it means is that someone that makes himself small, in words of Torah, doesn't explain what that means, but it becomes great in the world to come. Makes himself small probably means that he humbles himself to study Torah, to ask questions, to clarify things. Someone that makes himself like a slave to the words to Torah, like without stop, it sounds like becomes free in the world to come. Rish Lakish was marking off caves where the rabbis were buried. This is what Rizal did when he came to Eretz Yisrael. He went around finding where the caves, Well, Kimatel Marta de Reb Chia, we came to the cave of Reb Chia. Yalma Minai wasn't able to find it. Cholashtaite.
Right, excuse me. Reish Lakish was doing this for the purpose of for the Kohanim.
Probably.
Not just
Probably for the Kohanim. Yeah. The only question is Marta de Rabbanan. Every person gives off tumah. Doesn't have to be just the sages. I think he was doing it also out of respect for them, so people should know where to visit. That's what it looks like from the Gemara. You say specifically for Kayanim?
Any crypts or very wise. No. I say he's marking the graves so the Kohanim wouldn't walk by graves.
I know, but why would he only do that just for the sages? Shouldn't every grave give off impurity? I think
I'm sure he didn't mark off every grave.
It says Metzia and Marta de Rabbanan. Anyway, this is my chat.
Historically, this is before lafas and shawarma and falafel and things to do.
So Kimat Lamarta de Reb Chia wasn't able to find the grave of Reb Chia. Cholash Daite. He felt very bad. Amar, he says, Rabbeinu Shleilam lepalti Torah kamaisei. Did I not study Torah the way that Reb Chia did? Yatzabaskavar malay Torah kamaisei palti. Yes, you did study Torah the way Reb Chia did. But Torah kamaisei le Rebasta, but you didn't spread Torah the way Reb Chia did. Gavi Minsu Reb Chanina Reb Chia, when they would argue, Reb Chanina and Reb Chia would be arguing. Amalei Reb Chanina Reb Chia. So he said to him, Reb Chanina said to Reb Chia, because Reb Chanina Bar Chama is a student of Rebbe.
The answer to your question, so is further in the English. The reason why he marked the rabbis is opposed because every dead body gives every corpse gives. Well, Toomey says there's a particular need to do this for the rabbis' crypts, in that the righteous should never be a cause of harm to others.
Oh,
so that's kind of he didn't want.
Who's writing that? What's his saying?
That's quoted by Rashi. It says, see Rashi, see Rashbam.
Oh, you're right.
I'm not right. I'm just reading.
Yeah, he's right. He's right. He's right. It's Rashi's chat. Rashi says so that the Kayanim shouldn't pass by and then go over those graves, and then it would be they would get in trouble. They would stumble because of the tzaddikim. So it was more protecting it. Sorry, I had a different shot. Can't say my shot's better than Rashi.
That's why you
not allowed to say that.
Why me?
But I would have liked the shot to be that he was doing it out of respect for the graves that people should visit.
Sure,
that's what I would have liked the shot. Oh, is that what he says there? And who did they quote that from?
Some commentators explain Rish Lakish was demarcating caves so that people would pray there. The
Ivets. Okay. Rabbi Yaakov Emden says this pshat in the Rashash. Oh yeah.
From New Hampshire.
1 second.
Anybody at home here? Not like just kidding.
What page are we? 85. Yeah, he writes it. The Rashash actually writes it. He says Rashi is a doichik. This that he says the kala de tzadikim, that's a doichik. Beish lefarish, he says the Rashash says that they should recognize the graves, to daven by the graves, like we find in by Kalev that went to daven by the graves in Masech Saita, Mishar Mekayim. Okay. So okay, we're holding by the Reb Chanina and Reb Chia would argue. Amalei Reb Chanina Reb Chia, so Reb Chanina Bar Chama, student of Rebbe, says to Reb Chia, also student of Rebbe, Badidika Minsis, you're arguing with me. Chas v'shalom, if Hashem should protect, but he mishtak v'Torah Yisrael ma'adranala mifulpuli. If the Torah is ever forgotten, I'll be able to return it back just with my logic and my Torah acrobatics. Amalei Reb Chia Reb Chanina. Reb Chia says to Reb Chanina, "But did he come in? You're arguing with me? The Avdil Torah like Shachim Yisrael. Because of me, the Torah wasn't forgotten from Israel. My Avidna, what did I do? Azilna v'shadina kisna v'gadilna nishpi. I planted flax and I braided nets. I weaved nets. V'tzaydna tavi, and I caught deer. Machilna b'Israeli asked me, shechted them, and I fed the meat to the orphans. V'arichna megilta, I arranged the skins should be turned into scrolls. Because I wrote on it the 5 books of the Torah. And I went into the city. And I taught 5 children. Each one of them, I taught them one of the books. And I taught the 6 children, the 6 orders of Mishnayos, 6 different children, one each. And I said to them, until I get back, Akru Ahadadi, you should teach each other the Chumash, Vasnu Ahadadi, and teach each other the Mishnayos. And I made that the Torah shouldn't be forgotten from Israel. That's a great teaching method.
Is he saying this in the past that he did it, or that he would do it?
I think he's saying, sounds like he said, I did it. Oh, I go? It means in present tense? Maybe it's in the present tense.
And I weave the nets from the worm flax and I trap the.
So Hill says in English, it's in the present tense. Rebbe, that's what Rebbe says. How great are the actions of Chia? That's his Rebbe's student. Amalei Rebbe Shmuel bar Rabbi Yossi, afilu mimar Rebbe Shmuel bar Rabbi Yossi asks Rebbe, is he even greater than you? Amalei, yeah. Says Rabbi Chia is greater than me. The student is greater than the teacher. Afilu me'abba, is he even greater than my father? Rabbi Shmuel bar Rabbi Yossi says his father is Rabbi Yossi. Amalei, he says chas v'shalom leitei k'zeis b'Yisrael. No, that can't be. No one should say this, that Rabbi Chia is greater than your father, Rabbi Yossi. Amar Reb Zeira says, Emish nearly Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina. Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina appeared to me. It's a different Rabbi Yossi. Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina appeared to me. I said to him, it's Umiyata Tekua. Where are you situated? In the heavenly yeshiva. Amar Li. So Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina says, Eitzel Rabbi Yechanan. I'm next to Rabbi Yechanan. Rabbi Yechanan was his teacher. Rabbi Yechanan Eitzel me. Where is Rabbi Yechanan situated? Eitzel Rabbi Yanai. He's next to Rabbi Yanai. Rabbi Yanai was his teacher. Rabbi Yanai Eitzel me. Who's Rabbi Yanai next to Eitzel Rabbi Chanina? Next to Rabbi Chanina. I think it was his teacher. I'm not sure. Rabbi Chanina Eitzel me. Who's Rabbi Chanina next to Eitzel Rabbi Chia? Rabbi Chanina is next to his friend Rabbi Chia. Amarti lai. I said to him, Rabbi Yechanan Eitzel Rabbi Chia lai. Rabbi Yechanan can't be next to Rabbi Chia. Amali. So this is Rabbi Yossi bar Chanina says, Vasa there's a cook in Denura. In a place where the sparks of fire, ubu'urandash, and flames of fire, man mayel bar nafcha letaman bar nafcha can enter there. That's Rabbi Yechanan's father's name. It's Nafcha. Reb Chaviva says this is what I was explaining how great Reb Chia was. Ishtoili Reb Chaviva bar Surmaki, that Reb Chaviva bar Surmaki said to me. It was Reb Chaviva saying that another Reb Chaviva told him, Chazi leila humer abanan. I saw, let me see what this aleph is. Yeah, I saw this sage that Eliyahu Hanavi would come to was common, would frequent him. The Litzafra in the morning, Havi Shapir Neni, his eyes looked nice. And in the evening, the Mikla and Benura looked like they were burnt with fire. Amalei, my high, what's going on? Amali said, I said to Elio, I like to see the sages as they go to the heavenly yeshiva. Amali, so he said, you can look at all of them except for the, what's Guharka? Chariot? We have Guharka. The throne. Throne.
You're right, chariots.
Chia's throne. You can't look at Reb Chia's throne. Well, the Leila Stakabi, don't look at that. this Maisim how he says, how am I going to know what's his throne? Bekulu asli malachi kisal k'menachti. All of them have angels that are going when they're going up and going down. The throne of Reb Chia goes on its own. I wasn't able to control myself. I gave a little peek. Also, Trey Butiti Denura, two what does it say? Sparks of fire came a Machio and hit him. Hit this person and blinded his eye. The following day, I went to the grave. Amina, I said, Masnisa Demar Masnina, I study your teachings, Metzia, and I got healed.
Why does he get that cool throne?
Have a good Shabbos.
Why does he get the cool throne?
Okay, let's leave the Gemara over here. We're up to Elio.
Thank you. A good Shabbat.
Why does he get the cool throne? Why does he get the fire throne? So cool. You get that. What do you have to do down here to get a throne?